Welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. Hi, friends. So, I just want to give you guys a little heads up that I pre recorded some of our podcast episodes that are coming up and what has changed since then. So, in the last couple episodes and the upcoming episodes, I have been promoting a 3-day live event from January 27th through the 29th. And we've decided to move that 3-day event from a $47 event to a free offer. So now you can completely join, get those 3 days for free. But all I'm asking is that you show up those 3 days, or at least two of those 3 days, and you actually embody that work. Like you show up, you're using the chat, you're talking, you're actually workshopping with me. You are truly showing up and immersing yourself into the work. So that is what we've decided to do is move it from a $47 offer to completely free. And we decided to change the name. So when I recorded these, this was last year, when I recorded these. Since then, things have changed. So we decided during our team meeting in early 2025 that I really, really wanted to, number one, create a community, like a very supportive community, a community where it like really feels like a community again. I know that in the last couple of years, things have been different in the online space. And I know that I've been really craving community. Other people love community. And so that was one of the big pieces that came up during our team meeting, as well as giving tons of value. Now, as you guys know on the podcast, I give value every single week, or at least that's my intention. And I know there's a lot of you listening on a regular basis that come over to social media and tell me that you guys love the podcast, it's changed your life. And this is really where I thrive. Like, podcasting, being able to just talk to you guys, which is why I do so many live events, that is where I thrive. I don't necessarily thrive as much in email or like written copy and content. And while I still do it, I don't love it as much. And so that's why we've now have the podcast and we have YouTube, as well as moving into more video, more chatting. Like I said, I've been doing live events for a really long time, and those are still going to be happening. But I also will be doing more lives over on social media. I recently did one last week. If you have not yet watched it, I would go over to my Instagram at it's Tay Daniels _ LLC, and I would tune in because that live, while it was 40 minutes long, was a really good live. I talked all about money and what's blocking you from making money, what's blocking you from making a lot of money, what might be coming up for you in sneaky ways that you didn't even realize is affecting the way that you call in money, as well as like the energy of stepping into making a lot of money. So I would go over to my Instagram, watch that, but I would also sign up for this 3-day free live event. And the reason being is because it's going to be more of that. So we've changed the name to the Six-Figure Coach. And in this workshop, I'm going to teach you the mindset, the energy, like the energy you bring to your brand and your business, and then the strategy of being a six-figure CEO and coach. Because here's the thing is I made six figures now, multi six figures for years. But prior to making six figures, it was like 5 years of trying to figure it out. And I swore it was strategy. And then I would work with coaches and they're like, no, like it's your mindset. And it was always this like tug of war, right? Like this back and forth of like, what is it? Just tell me what to do and I will do it. And I swore it was strategy. And it wasn't until I started making six figures that I realized it's not even just strategy, but it's the blend, right? Like it's the mindset that you carry in general, the future decisions that you're making for future you. It's the brand energy that you bring. It's the vibe that you bring to your business. It's the way that you tap into what you're good at and you really use that. So if you're really good at video or talking, then how can you tap more into that, right? Podcasting, YouTubing, going live, versus if you're more good at written copy, which I would say that I think most of you, right? I've worked with thousands of you at this point, are really good and actually better at just talking, like just talking to your people, right? That's why you want to be a coach. So there's a group of you that thinks that that's not your strong suit because you haven't done it enough, right? Or it's scary. But then there's this other group of you where you know that's what your strong suit is, but you're trying to do other strategies and methods that just don't work for you, right? And then there's a group of you that I'm sure written is just like your better thing. So like, are we using a blog, or what are you doing to capitalize on what you're good at? And then mixing that with six-figure strategy. Now, the six-figure strategy that I teach, like this is my unique strategy. Everyone is different, but you're going to know this is for you because you're like, yeah, that's the kind of business model I want to have. The very first thing we focus on is alignment. Now, alignment is different to every single person. Most of the women that come into my world have children because I also have children. And so working with someone who has kids is going to be probably more beneficial to you if you have kids because that's your life, right? And now alignment too could mean like, what is your unique lifestyle? So for me, I have two kids. One of them is one is 8, and they're both at home with me, right? So my toddler is at home with me all day. Obviously, she's not in school. And then my oldest does an online private school from home. But I am still with my kids and running my business. And then I'm married, so I have that support. But my husband also works and he travels a lot for work. So, like, that is where I have to find my own alignment within my life and business of what works for me, which then once we've strategize what your own alignment looks like for your life. So schedule your goals, your income goals. These should all be really, really personal to you. So when you come into coach school, that's the first thing we're going to do is like create this roadmap of alignment for you. What should your schedule look like? What should your business look like? What is your gifts? What are you good at? How much time do you have to work on your business? And then we're going to go into the next section, which is alignment of your offers. So, how you structure your offers in alignment with the life you want to live, in alignment with your schedule for now and your dream schedule, in alignment with the money that you want to make. We're going to be making future you, six-figure you decisions. Then we're going to go into your marketing strategy, your lead gen, and your sales strategy. For some people, this is going to look like I want to focus really heavily on collaborations and podcasting. For some of you, it's going to be I want to focus on Pinterest and social media. It's not so much about what the right strategy is, it's what is the right strategy for you. What is alignment for you? Where are you going to be consistent and show up consistently to make it work for you? Right. And that is what coach school is all about. And it's about becoming your next level self, your six-figure self. And so we're going to put together those pieces. So in my upcoming 3-day workshop that I've decided to make completely free, that's what I'm teaching you. It's the groundwork of what is this next level mindset? How do we create this alignment? How do I create my own brand energy in the way that I show up for my business? And then what is the strategy that I need to implement to create six-figure me? So for some of you, again, it's going to be better boundaries, a better mindset, the way that you show up, the visuals of your brand. And maybe it's going to be offers. Maybe it's going to be the way that you position offers, and your messaging and your marketing and your pricing needs to be in more alignment. Maybe for some of you, it's like a better lead gen strategy. Maybe for some of you, it's a better sales strategy. But you're only going to know what's for you based on knowing you, right? So that's what this workshop covers. And then we're going to open applications for the coach school, which is our 12-month hands-on high level program. It's basically a mastermind. We're taking limited spots. We're opening the cart a few times a year, and those applications will open for 2 weeks. It's a $10,000 program. We do have a payment plan, but this is about becoming your next level self. This is about blending all the things that I just talked about. It's about becoming you, right? It's the program where you feel like you have this safe space to become this next level you, and you have hands-on support. We're going to rewrite your story, rebuild your confidence, rebrand you, your life, and your business inside out, and take you from overlooked to completely unstoppable in your business to go to six figures. So here's what you will need to be qualified for the coach school. Because again, this is a next level program. So the first thing we say is that you have to have an established business. So this is either going to be an established coaching or consulting business and or service-based business. I have a lot of service providers in my world. However, if you're a service provider, you do need to have some kind of scalable one-to-many offer, right? So if you don't have that yet, some of my service providers do both, like they do consulting, VIP days, done with you, done for you. Some of them have programs. If you don't have a scalable offer, start with Offer Bootcamp. That's where we're going to help you create one-to-many offers. If you already have a scalable offer, Coach School is probably the better option for you. So number one, you have an established business. You've already made some kind of money in your business. And you're not completely new. And then number two is you have a scalable offer. Number three, you are committed to growth. You are totally ready to overcome your shit. Like you are ready to do the work. You might need help with the work. You might need support with the work, but you're ready to do the work. Number 4 is financial readiness. You're ready to invest $10,000 or 12 payments at 888. You can use Klarna. We offer Klarna. You do have to apply. It's a third-party app for funding. But regardless, you're ready. Like, you are committed. That is the investment you're going to make. And I will tell you guys, when I made my first $10,000 investment, it was like the craziest, scariest. I don't even know how to explain it to you. Like, I wanted to puke, but I was also so excited because there was like this, I have goosebumps just talking about it. There was like this energy within me that was like, oh my God, like I'm about to do the biggest thing of my life, of my career. Like, this is so big for me. This is such next level for me. And that next level investment took me to 6 figures in 6 months. Like, I will forever and ever and ever talk about that investment being one of the best decisions I ever made for myself. And I was committed to showing up. I was committed that every single week I was going to show up and do the work, and it paid off. And so that's why for this program, that is the energy, right? That I want you to bring. It's like, is it going to be scary? Yes. Is that going to be maybe one of the biggest investments you've ever made? Maybe. But also, it will make you feel so excited and ready. Like, this is my next level, which then goes to the next piece that we're looking for, is that you have a strong desire to scale and make really big moves in your life and your business. Like, you have a big vision. You really, really like see your life as so much different than maybe the people around you or the way that you grew up, and you're really, really ready for your next level. So if that sounds like you, the coach school is going to be the place for you. So sign up for the 3 free live event at the end of the month, January 27th through the 29th, and then applications will open. You can also get on the coach school waitlist right now. So you'll be able to apply and join before everyone else and lock in your spot. But you'll also get exclusive bonuses for being on the waitlist. So needless to say, thank you for always being here, for listening, for tuning in every single week. Don't forget to sign up, and let's jump into today's episode. Today, we're talking about sales, and more specifically, we're talking about mastering sales for scaling, because this looks so much different than when you're signing your first client, or you're still doing one-on-one consults and booking clients individually, or doing one-to-one coaching. So sometimes during one-to-one coaching, not only are you customizing your packaging, but you're customizing your consults for that one person to book one client. And when we talk about sales for scaling and going to 6 figures, we're talking about signing quite a few more clients. So today, I'm going to break down sales for scaling. I'm going to talk about the different pieces that you need in order to scale, in order to sell to the masses. So the first thing that I'm going to cover in today's episode is going to be about the mindset and the energy around sales and scaling sales. And the reason being is because, as we've talked about in the last 2 episodes, the mindset and the energy that you have around your entire business, more specifically around money and sales, is going to be what drives you to either make money, not make money, hold yourself back when you're making money. And it all starts with you. If your energy is off, if your energy screams, I don't want to sell because I feel salesy or too salesy or pushy, if you have all of these thoughts, conscious or subconscious, those can be holding you back from making a lot of money, because you have this subconscious belief that you shouldn't make a lot of money, or it's bad to make a lot of money, or it's bad to sell all the time, or whatever it is that your brain starts to come up with. And so before we focus on, and we do this in coach school, but before we focus on scaling, before we focus on going to the next level, we have to do an energy cleanup. We have to do a mindset cleanup. This is really, really important to set the tone for your business, for yourself as the leader, as the CEO, as the person in charge of sales. You have to clean this up. So I would start to get really clear, start writing down all the things that come up for you when you're selling, or when you're being sold to. What are all the things that come up for you when you talk about money, when you hear other people talk about money? Like, what are those ick points for you? And how confident do you actually feel in sales, in selling someone high ticket, or in your offer, or in the transformation of your offer? Because what you're selling is also going to matter just as much, right? It's, if you don't really believe in the offer, you don't believe in the price, you feel bad or pushy, or you feel a little unsure if you could get someone a result, it's going to be really hard to feel convinced and energized to sell this offer. Versus if you are like, this is the best offer ever created. This is a no-brainer price. I cannot wait to help so many people change their lives inside of this offer. Then it becomes easier to sell because you have full belief. Now, this is what we also just recently talked about too, was having belief that you could make six figures. The same goes for your offer, goes for your business, your money, every aspect of your business. It's how much do you believe in it, right? So for example, Coach School is a 12-month program, a $10,000 investment. And for me, this is like a no-brainer price between the amount of coaching, the amount of support, what you learn, and the result you will get from this offer. And because I've ran it for so long, I have such confidence in this program being $10,000 that for me, it's like, yeah, that's a no-brainer price, right? But if I was like, oh, I don't know, that's really high, like that's really expensive, then I'm going to have a lot of I'm gonna have a hard time selling it. But then when I get in a conversation with someone and they're like, I just don't know, $10,000 is a lot of money, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it is. Like, it is so much money. And I'm gonna have all this drama around selling someone into something that I don't even believe in, right? Or that I think is too expensive. So you have to do an energy and a mindset check around how you actually think about money, sales, your pricing, your offers, and the way that you show up to sell. What I also see happen for a lot of people is if you're, let's say you're in services, like you do done for you services, and you've been doing that for quite some time. You book consults, you talk to people on the consults, and you sell them into your one-to-one package. And you've done that for so long that you feel so confident in doing that, that when you switch gears, either to coaching or consulting or to maybe even passive income or courses, and then you go out to sell, and we're going to use like group coaching high ticket as the example. Let's say you move from that into a high ticket group coaching program and you go out to sell it. Now you don't feel as confident, even though you have sales skills, even though you've sold tons of women into other packages, it was done for you and it wasn't coaching. So for me, it would be, you don't actually have a sales problem. You don't have an energy problem around sales. You know how to sell. You're good at selling. What you have a problem with is what you are selling right now and your belief in what you're selling. So that's a really good way to like check in of what is the actual problem before trying to solve it. Is it a money problem? Is it like the price? I don't believe in it. Is it that I wouldn't invest in it? Is it the offer? Is it my ability to like serve you in this capacity? Is it my ability to get you results? Or what is it that is making you say, like, I'm nervous, or I don't want to sell, or I feel bad selling? Now, another thing I would say is that if you're under six figures is probably why you're listening to this, but if you're under six figures and you're spending a lot of time in the online space, on social media, consuming a lot of content, listening to a lot of podcasts, I want you to take time, sometime today, and put on your schedule how often you will allow yourself to scroll social media or listen to podcasts or like consume content. And I would make sure that you are creating and that you are showing up for your business and making decisions for your business and selling more than you're consuming. One of the big reasons is because if you're consuming a lot of content on a regular basis, you might think that this is helpful and that you're learning something and you're like tapped in. But what I want to remind you is you're getting a lot of opinions from a lot of people with a lot of different thoughts and opinions themselves and a lot of different business models, that it can be even more hurtful and overwhelming to you because you have spent all this time listening to 5, 10 different people tell you 10 different things, and now you don't know what to believe, and now you feel stuck. And I see a lot of this when it comes to women talking about money and women talking about sales and women selling, because they're like, well, people on social media said it's too salesy, it's too pushy, we shouldn't be doing it, we should be coddling our audience, we should be nurturing them more, we should be doing more value, we should be giving more away for free. And it's like, no one here is actually right. You have to decide what is right for you. But what I can say is if you're spending all of your time and your energy listening to 10 different people's opinions on a regular basis, and then you're stuck in not taking action, fear of making decisions, fear that you're going to do it wrong, imposter syndrome because you're consuming from everyone else, I want you to take time, like take really good amount of time and put in your schedule. When will I consume? How often will I consume? Is this less than how much I'm creating and selling? And how can I limit what I'm consuming? For me, I usually work with like 1 or 2 coaches at a time. They're usually talking about 2 completely different things, like a life coach and a business coach. But what I do is I like find 1 to 2 people who I really, really like to listen to. And the reason I like to listen to them is because we have similar business models, we have similar goals, they're probably just like a few steps ahead of me, but they're doing what I'm doing. And they have a business model that matches my business model. So for example, I like to follow coaches who sell group coaching at a higher level than I do. They do one-to-many. They don't do any one-to-one offers. They don't do sales calls. They maybe don't even run ads because that's not really what I want to do right now. And they have kids. That's what's really important to me, because if you're a coach and you have no kids, your life looks so much different than mine. And I can't even compare our business models or strategies because you probably have way more time than I do, right? You have different responsibilities. And it's not going to be useful for me to listen to someone who has 0 kids talk about how they're traveling and they're always on stages and they're writing books and they're doing all these big things that like do not fit in this season of life for me. Same goes for you, is how can you condense who you're listening to? Pick someone who has a life similar to yours and a business model similar to the one you want to build and the life that you want to have. That's going to be the most realistic person to listen to. And then do you vibe with their mission, their vision, their values, their opinions? And that's the people I would tap into. And I would honestly pick like 1 to 3 people maybe and consume from them. If you can find a coach and get in the room with her and binge her podcast and listen to all the things that she's created and watch her classes and watch her courses and show up for coaching, honestly, that's going to be the best thing you can do, because the more you can surround yourself with one group of people who are doing the same thing, the less confusion and overwhelm you're going to have until you've been able to develop this muscle, right? The more time you're in business, the more time you're selling, the more money you're making, you're going to develop this muscle of discernment, right? And I'm not saying you don't have it. I'm just saying when you're in earlier stages of business, you're trying to consume as much as possible, learn as much as possible to grow as fast as you can. So it's not something you're doing wrong. It's just sometimes that's not always helpful. And so you have to say, okay, I'm going to use discernment right now, immediately, to say, this isn't actually helpful. This is actually hurting my business. So the first thing for scaling, sales for scaling, is cleaning up your mindset, cleaning up your energy, cleaning up what you're doing, what you're focusing on, who you're following, and how much you're consuming. The second part of this is having clarity to create sales that are scalable. So this is about selling to the masses, right? Again, when we're selling one-to-one, when we're selling one-to-one services, one-to-one packages, it's really easy to get on the phone with someone, have a conversation, and shift your messaging or whatever you're talking about to this one person and sell them into one package for them, right? Like you could custom create a package right there on the call that fits exactly what they're saying. Now, when you're scaling, you are typically not doing one-to-one consults, more than likely. In the beginning stages, maybe, but as you continue to sign clients, right? And you're filling up your group with 20 to 45 people, you're probably not doing sales calls with that many people. I'm not saying you can't, right? You can. I'm just saying if you want to do the 10-hour work week and you're trying to do as least as possible, but in the best way possible, you're probably going to get rid of sales calls. So we have to talk about making sure that you have clarity in your business. Now, this is going to come from your niche, your micro niche. Who are you helping? Very, very specifically, how are you helping them? What are the problems that you're solving? What is the result that you get them? What is the transformation? We talked a lot about this. We've talked a lot about this on the podcast in general over the last 6 weeks, but also in Offer Bootcamp, this is what we do when we help you build your scalable group, is making sure that it's very, very micro specific. So a good example of this is if you're a weight loss coach or a fitness coach for women. More specifically, you could be like a coach that helps you grow your glutes in 6 weeks or 6 months. That's going to be way more specific and micro niched down to say, I help women grow their glutes, right? So then when you go out to create content to sell to people, it's really easy to be like, this is who I help, how I help them, what we do, what's the result, and how long it takes to get it. It's very crystal clear. No one would really have to jump on the phone with you to talk about it, right? And then when you go out to create content, you can talk about objections. So what are all the objections they might have to growing their glutes? Will this work for me? Does it take longer? What is the diet plan? How long do I have to work out? Like those are all content pieces for you. And when you create content in that specific way that also overcomes their objections, again, they don't need to jump on the phone. They don't need to sit on the phone with you for 30 to 45 minutes when you've answered all of this in your content. Now, the next part of selling to the masses or selling in a scalable way is how are you doing it, right? So the first part is like, what do you need to clean up? What do you need to create clarity around so that your messaging is spot on? But then the second part is, how are you actually doing it? when I moved from one-to-one services and one-to-one consults into reaching larger audiences, what I would do is live events and live workshops, which I still do to this day. I love this method. I think this is the easiest way to get people in the room with you and to learn from you immediately. So when you sign up for a live event with me, I run my live events as if I'm coaching you, right? So I'm going to tell you who I am. Obviously, I'm going to tell you a bit about me. You're going to get to learn my personality immediately. You're going to get to learn the way that I coach, the way that I show up. You're probably going to be in the room with other students who then will like vouch for what their transformations have been working together. Then I'm going to teach you in the same way that I would teach you in a coaching room if you were to sign up to work with me. And then at the end, I always leave space for questions and to coach people. The reason I do this is because I'm giving you a taste of what it's like to work with me. If you come to a live event, it's 1 to 3, 5 days, and you're like, this has been one of the most awesome experiences I've ever had. And usually, even if we have a 3 to 5 day event, we usually even add in Slack. So I do like Slack support in between. You're literally getting a taste of my coaching. So for me, this is the easiest way to build trust immediately, to give you a clear example of what it's like to work with me and to talk to you, to have a conversation with you. So live events have been what I've implemented from day one since I started group coaching. And those have been the easiest way to build up trust and warm up your audience in real time. The second piece is your content strategy. So content with podcasts, content with social, content with email. Do I think you need all three in the beginning? Absolutely not. I think you need to pick one and get really, really, really good at it. And how are you going to nurture your audience? How are you going to warm them up? When creating content, whether it is your email list, whether it is social media, whether it's a podcast, I want you to think about it in a way of you're talking to the people who are in your world, right? So I don't want you to think about this as I'm trying to attract new clients. Can social media or podcasting or SEO attract new clients? Yes. But I want you to think about it in this way of I am warming up the people who know me, who have found me, who are following me. How do I warm them up and build trust, authority, and give them value? Because I know those are the three things that are needed to get them to be in a place to be ready to buy. And the next thing is DMs. So learning how to have personalized, intimate connections in the DMs with people, helping them come to a decision without coaching them in the DMs, and being able to lead those conversations into a sale. So inside Coach School, that's what we talk about. Live events and workshops, your content strategy, DM sales, collaborations, your emails. How do you get people warmed up and ready to buy from you? Number 4 is systems. Systems are really, really important when you are scaling, when you are going to 6 figures, past 6 figures, is do you have a lead gen strategy that is scalable, that doesn't require you to go out and find and get leads one-to-one? Do you have an attraction or nurture sequence? So emails, through live events, through content, are you nurturing your people in a way that is scalable, right? So that it doesn't require so much of your time. And how are you closing people into sales? And do you have some automations set up? So how much of your business can you make scalable through systems and automations? This is going to help eliminate a lot of time on your schedule and even the need for team. So in the very beginning days, it's how do I create really easy scalable processes? One of the ones I can think of for us is onboarding. So all of our onboarding is automated from this. You go to the checkout page. Obviously, with applications, we go through and we send you emails back because that part we can't automate. I need to physically look at your application. But once you've received your email with your approval, you're then going to get a link to join. That would be a checkout page. You go to that checkout page, you buy, you immediately get a link to a contract. You have to sign it. As soon as you sign it, you get a link to an onboarding form. You fill it out, you get access to your portal. You also get emails throughout the entire time you're in the program that are automated for check-ins. So that entire onboarding process is automated as well as our offboarding process. So when it gets to the end of your time, you're going to get emails asking, do you want to renew your time? Do you want to stay with us? Are you going to leave? Do you want to downgrade? What have you? And if they were to leave, then we would offboard them, and that's all automated, right? So how much of your business can you automate to give you more time back in your day? How much of it can you put in a system, in a process, whether it's leads, marketing, sales, onboarding, offboarding, anything you can do, how much of it can you automate? And then the last part, my honorable mention, is for transparency. If we're selling high ticket, that strategy looks a lot different than low ticket. So you need to first decide, are you going to have a low ticket business model that you sell a bunch of low ticket things, courses, passive offers, everything you do is low ticket? Are you going to have a business that's high ticket only, or are you going to have a mix of both? If you're in the newer days, you're still one-to-one coaching, I would probably have one, like obviously keeping your one-to-one people, move into group. That's the easiest way to go scalable. Once you've moved into group, you have enough people in group that you don't need your one-to-one clients. I would probably start ticking those off. The reason being is because one-to-one client work is usually higher priced than group coaching because it's more access to you. So that would be what I would do first. And then as you're scaling to six figures, so if you're still in the building a group offer, just pick one offer, get really good at high ticket sales, get really good at marketing and sales. And that's all I would focus on. Until I filled my group to 20 to 45 people, the only thing I would focus on is selling one high ticket group coaching program over and over and over and over. And I get really good at marketing. I get really good at sales. I get really good at having conversations, and I would master high ticket sales. That's what I did. Once you've done that and you start filling people in, then when we talk about scaling to six figures or multi six figures, what I would then do is talk about a middle ticket or low ticket offers. The reason being is because this is a great way to warm up and nurture your audience. You probably have more leads at this point. You have a bigger community at this point. So we have more people that we need to warm up. We have more people that we need to convert. And so then we would talk about a scalable business model, right? So an entire offer suite, but I just wouldn't focus on that quite yet. Now, with that being said, you have to decide, are you doing high ticket, low ticket, or somewhere in between? I wouldn't try to do all the things in earlier days if you haven't mastered one or the other, because they're two different strategies. Selling low ticket things is a completely different strategy than selling high ticket. And I think that a lot of people think that selling low ticket is easier because it's low ticket, and it's not true. Sales are sales. You have to learn how to talk to people. You have to learn messaging, and you have to learn sales no matter what you're selling. Those are the principles. So decide the business model and then learn the strategies for that. In Coach School, we're talking about both. So with transparency in sales, one of the big things that I'm always transparent about is the price. I'm always transparent. It's on every sales page. This is how much it costs. This is the payment plan. And the reason I do that is because I don't want anyone to apply and not know the price. That would keep me from applying first and foremost. But the second part of that is applying, and that this isn't even in like the realm of what you're ready for. That's a disservice to both of us. So transparency across the board. The next part is transparency when it comes to support or access to me, or how many calls, or is it me in the program. With my proximity programs, Offer Bootcamp and Coach School, it's always me coaching inside of there. But again, create transparency with your clients. If you have a co-coach and they're coaching with you, you need to be transparent about what that process looks like, as well as like how much coaching back and forth do they get, how much one-to-one or hands-on support do they get. As much clarity and transparency as you can give, the better. So one of those things being is like, I'm not going to teach you ads. That's not going to be a thing that I ever teach in my offers. So don't expect to come in and learn about ads. The another thing I'm transparent about is the way that I coach. And a lot of people know this from live events, podcasts. Like I'm very direct and I just kind of say it how it is. But what I like to be transparent about is the fact that I will not coddle you. Right? I will push you to your limit in my programs. Will I love you and cheer you on and support you and hold your hand and be like your biggest support system? 100%. But I also will push you in the moments that I feel like you need pushed. And there's some students I push more because I know they can take it. I know they need it. And there's other students I don't push as hard because I know that they're not able to handle it. And I've kind of learned that through the years, but at the same time, my coaching style is going to be to push you to your potential. It's going to be to push you to what I know you're capable of. And if you cannot handle any type of tough coaching, if you cannot handle accountability, if you cannot handle being called out on your crap, not the coach for you. And so I'm very transparent about that up front, because if not, and you come into my offers, you'll probably be very unhappy and it won't be a fun experience for either one of us. So as much transparency as you can create up front, the better. Okay, that is the end of today's episode. Do not forget to join our 3-day live event. Kicks off today. Get your ticket below for the 3 days. Get your application in for Coach School. Applications are open until next Wednesday. As always, thank you guys so much for listening, and I will chat with you on the next episode.